I would like to thank Mr. Ye and Mr. Wu. I believe in Hangzhou we have a very good innovation environment. And here I would like to share with you the rationale behind. Last year we talked about the city brain, and it is because we have the internet opportunity so that we can rethink the city issues. And I only realized what is a city in the last 1 year, that the city is humanity's most incredible invention. Human is a great invention of the world. However, human will and the city is the incredible invention of a human. So for all the activities and all of our efforts, they are centered around the city. A few years ago, there's a saying that we will go back to the nature and go back to the countryside. And I think there's a good news and a bad news here. In the future, 80% of the people will live in the cities. So city is something that we cannot get away with. A city is what we invented, and we cannot escape from what we invented. The nature has invented a human being, which is not perfect, and the city is what we invented that is not perfect either. There are a lot of city disease, and some of the city disease are quite serious. For example, when you drive a car, what is the cost for driving on the road? I was also quite shocked when I saw this data for the first time. When you are in the car, when you are driving, you will need to occupy 80% of the road area on average. I have found a different source of data to verify its accuracy. Then the conclusion is we may even use over 80 square meters. At home, the space you occupy is a lot less than 80 square meters, but on the road you will occupy 80 square meters. I believe for city, this is very demanding in the natural resources. So like for the water, electricity, for all resources, city is very demanding. So I believe that ultimately we need to solve the problem of a resource. This is the common challenge for us all. And when we enjoy the technical convenience, there's one thing we neglect. Today, we live on an island of the road. A short while ago, I saw the satellite picture of Hangzhou city. Perhaps you have not realized that we're living on an isolated island which is occupied by a road. In the high-tech zone, we know the road is wide, and then we are more living on an island. So why in these areas you find that the road is so wide that it is very difficult to cross the street on the zebra crossing. So today it is like the shirt I am wearing. The lines are very wide, and that is an occupancy of a lot of resources. And it is because of this occupancy of the resource, we are living on an island of the road. We are living on an island that is separated by the road in the city. However, the God is fair. With the internet technology, with the computing technology, and with the technologies we have today, city not only have, in addition to the water and the soil resources, city also have a data resource, and data will become the most valuable natural resource for the cities. it is because of the activity of the human being that we have this data. And just like Jack Ma mentioned, we need to be optimistic. We will find solutions sooner or later, and we are very lucky that we have this data resource. And unlike soil and water, this is generated by human beings. This is not endowed by the nature, and the use of the data is. This data can be recycled, so this is a great opportunity for us. So with this resource, and as for the city brain, it can do many things. Last year, I was saying that the most remote distance is between the camera, traffic light. They are on the same pillar. However, there's no connection. And I'm very glad that since last year we started the pilot project in Xiaoshan. I believe this is the first time that with the data we can remove the distance between traffic lights and the cameras. So this is for the first time that for every 15 seconds we can see the updated picture of the traffic light. So this change of the traffic light policy is a redistribution of the resource, that is the time resource. And the result is very encouraging because you can get home early every day. And also, as Mr. Ye mentioned, when we do this in Hangzhou, when we drive on the elevated ring road, Hangzhou is for the first time get to know that how many cars are on the road. So every day there's 1.2 million vehicles running on the road. And in fact, Hangzhou has only 1.2 million vehicles. However, in the past, when the Statistics Bureau calculated the number of cars on the road, they thought there's only like 500,000. And in Hangzhou, there's a limitation of the traffic. But even with the limit, there's still 1.2 million vehicles running on the road. So this changed our stereotype. So for all the assumptions in the past, they are made in such assumption that only half that number of the vehicles are running on the road. And for the first time, we get to know that for these 1.2 million cars, 50% of them have been on the elevated ring road. So this is a really disruptive understanding of the cities. So with the machines installed in the elevated ring road, we help to save the driving time by 10% for each car. So that is like 5 to 8 minutes for each car. And so for these 1.2 million cars, every car can save 5 to 10 minutes. This is like the keyboard entry. If we can save 0.01 second for each Chinese character entry, we can save a lot of time for the entire population. So if we can save 5 to 8 minutes for each vehicle, that will bring a lot of benefit to the general public. Now we have data for the traffic policemen. They can provide 10 times more services to the population. And we have also made experiment in Suzhou. In Suzhou city, the operator, business, and the government are pooling the data, and the data change the way people travel. In the past, people are not aware that for the public the public bus station, they are not reasonably designed. So for these pilot projects, we use the data, we optimize the bus station location. And with that change, the bus passenger increased by 17% and 10% in 2 bus stations, respectively. So we cannot solve the traffic problem by building the wider road or bigger vehicle. For the data resource, this is the most valuable resource of the city. Just now, Professor Pan mentioned the building of a statistics bureau. I would like to make one correction. This is not a statistics bureau. This is a statistic resource bureau. Resource is a word that we cannot miss, because this is for the first time that data is viewed as a resource for the government organization. I believe this will also bring about great changes in cities. So City Brain, we hope that City Brain will not remain a concept. Rather, this will become very important infrastructure in the future. When you have the data resource, and all the data resource must be processed in a timely manner. People will not want to leave trash. However, people leave a lot of trash data unsorted out. A few days ago, when Xu Guangdi visited Hangzhou, I mentioned to him that mayor is not something that a human being can handle, because nobody knows how the city is operated. Actually, I feel greatly pity for the mayor when I get to know that every day there's 1.2 million vehicles running on the road. And most importantly, we need to make use of the data to serve the general public. For all the public resources, we need to allocate in a timely manner. Just now, Mr. Ye mentioned this, all these ambulance vehicles, 110. We are not to stop other cars so as to give a green light to these ambulance cars. Rather, we are to allocate resources in a more efficient manner and a smart manner, so that we can give the fast track to these ambulances. This is something this is the foundation of our work in Hangzhou. Hangzhou is a great city, and in the Asian Games will be held in Hangzhou in year 2022. And to be more specific, it will be held in Xiaoshan, and the City Brain will become the most essential infrastructure by then. In Hangzhou, we have a great opportunity to make ourselves as a pioneer. When we first talked to Xiaoshan, they mentioned that in order to prepare for the Asian Games, they will invest about 200 billion in transportation infrastructure. And I said, if we can optimize 10%, then we can save 20 billion. And for 20 billion, we can help with the medical insurance of the general public, because the city, they have occupied a lot of the resource and the wealth. I believe this is something we need to solve. And lastly, for City Brain, this is a gift to cities. And I believe this is also a gift to the world. And I will give this a gift to the world. Thank you.